Guess who got brands talking? Brandlife.co.za.
Good morning. Welcome to the next edition of Shapeshifter for 2019. We've just come out of a conference and people are still talking about it, so we want to keep the conversation going. And I'm wishing you all a very happy 2019. And we have with us in the studio today, oh, by the way, I must apologize for having the show on a Wednesday. We will revert to Tuesday from next week. But we have with us guests from the construction, from the CBE. And they are having a Transformation Indaba in February, 7th to 8th of February. And we have with us the CEO of CBE, Priscilla Mdlalose. We have the COO of CBE, Mokgema, Mongane. Am I saying it right? Thank you.
Perfect.
And we also have a special guest, Henck Conrey, who runs a company called Recon Production, and he's engaging in a possible partnership with CBE. So I'm going to start with you, Madam CEO. Can you tell us a little bit about, very briefly, in a snapshot view, what the CBE is all about?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning to our listeners, and thank you very much for having us in this show. Let me explain what the CBE is all about. The CBE stands for the Council for the Built Environment. It was established by the Act of Parliament, the Council for the Built Environment Act, number 43 of 2000. It is an overarching body that coordinates 6 professional councils. These are the councils for the architecture, engineering, landscape architects, project and construction management, property valuation, and quantity surveying. We are based in Pretoria, but we are trying to be out to make our footprint in the 9 provinces. The CBE Act was established to address certain shortcomings in the built environment and to enable a climate for ongoing transformation and the development of professions. In terms of the CBE Act, the Council is, among others, responsible for transforming the professions, acting as a conduit between government and the built environment professions, fostering growth of professionals, and contributing to the creation of a dynamic built environment. Perhaps in a nutshell, let me just say this is what the CBE is all about.
Sounds like a huge task to me.
It is.
Okay, now transformation, it's a buzzword in the industry. It's a priority for all the councils. But if I might use the term, CBE, Council for the Built Environment, is a kind of super council. So transformation is a bigger thing for you than for the other councils because you've got to take the lead.
Yes.
And I see you doing just that with the Transformation Indaba. So what is the CBE Transformation Indaba, and why the need for an Indaba of this nature?
The CBE Transformation Indaba, it is a platform for the built environment sector where we confront challenges that are facing the built environment. Transformation seems to be moving very slow. It is a concern for all of us. It is a concern for the government. It is a concern for those who still want to enter into the profession. So our current stats, for example, of registered persons says white still represents 70% of the total registered professionals. 20% is being African, 7% Indian, and 3% colored. So if you look at those statistics, I think we should all be worried. Together as a sector, then, we need to change this picture. Transformation Indaba then creates that platform for us, for all of us to come together as a sector to discuss possible solutions to this challenge. There are many factors contributing to slow success of transformation. To name a few, it's the exposure of the African women, the disabled. So we need to create that space so that we increase the number of the African child, the women, when we look in terms of gender, and the disabled. So We also have a challenge in terms of funding of the initiatives that we talk about in the sector. There is also a challenge of exposure to workplace opportunities, especially for the students who wants to do their practicals. We have a challenge in terms of mentorship of those who are now candidates who want to be registered as professionals. So there are a number of issues. So we believe that the Transformation Indaba that the CBE is hosting will be able to create that platform where the sector can address those issues, but also to try and come up with innovative ideas so that we can move this transformation agenda forward. So basically, I think this is all about the transformation, the CBE Transformation Indaba, yes.
And addressing the challenges.
Yes.
Tell me, and you had your inaugural Indaba in 2017. How did that go, and what has been happening since then?
Yes, we had a very successful Transformation Indaba in 2017. Our purpose for that, our first Indaba was, first of all, to try and find out who is out there, to identify our key stakeholders and to create that database of our key stakeholders, but also to try and mobilize the key role players within the sector. So that was the major focus of our Transformation Indaba. So we have established those partners or key stakeholders. Now we are able then to move forward together. Okay. And one of the areas, I think it was also to try and see how we can collaborate, within the sector, so that we are able to address the issue of transformation together, not as in silos.
Okay. And I see you getting the minister to endorse what you're doing.
Very much so.
And that's, I think, is going to have a great impact.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. And the project manager for this Indaba is Erad Visser.
Yes.
We have Erad couldn't join us in studio, but we have him on the line. Erad, are you there? Erad?
I'm here, Yuven. Welcome to you and to the listeners as well. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, Erad. Tell us. Can you tell us about the program for this Indaba this year? What do you have lined up for the?
Yes, Yuven. As we've discussed, and the transformation in general is really, it's more than just increasing the representativity of previously disadvantaged, but it's about addressing issues throughout the skills pipeline to ensure, a steady supply of active skilled built environment professionals to meet the needs of future society, regardless of race, gender, ability, socioeconomic status, or the actual demographic location. This program and how we set possible. So what we really are trying to foster an environment of this whole pipeline, which I'm sure my executives will be talking about as well, to foster that sense that, anything is really possible, to create an enabling environment where anyone can really become what they want to become. So the program as such, the first of the days, is really geared towards government and the messages from our sort of sister entities and mother body, the Department of Public Works. We are expecting the Honourable Minister of Public Works to develop or to present a keynote address. We will also have our CEO and COO on stage addressing specific issues of transformation. Then we will be having a case study from the Tutuka Foundation that will be presented by Mr. Ntatu Selebi, who is the project director at Tutuka Bursary Fund. We will also have a presentation on construction, health and safety delivered by Professor John Smallwood from the Department of Construction Management at the Nelson Mandela University. After lunch, we will move towards the property and construction sector charter codes, looking at these codes as enablers for transformation. And we've got both the chief executive officers of the construction and property sector charter codes doing this presentation. After that, we will be addressed by Mr. Martin Lewis, who is the CEO of the South African Council for Planners, SACPCMP as such, and he will be discussing with delegates the various exciting initiatives that they are undertaking specifically relating to transformation in a presentation entitled Going Beyond Statistics. That will be followed by a presentation on universal design and universal accessibility. That's going to be conducted by Mr. Daisuke Sadia, who is the Chief Advisor or JICA expert to the Department of Social Development and the Japan International Cooperation Agency representative. And then we've got a very interesting presentation by Mr. Johan de Roo. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Phoenix Trust. Phoenix essentially is a trust that believes that the right to education and fulfilling one's potential should not be dependent on wealth. And they've devised a platform to allow the public at large, philanthropists and donors, to actually assist students with their funding needs to enable them to complete their studies. We will then move to a couple of testimonials from some of the individuals that's gone through our transformation program, specifically the structured workplace candidacy program.
I'm now going to break very quickly for an ad break. So please remain with us. We'll join you soon.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Welcome back. We are talking to the team at CBE about their transformation in Taba. Mokgema, you are the engine behind CBE, and you have CBE's transformation model and action plan at heart, and it's built and it's based on the built environment skills pipeline, a model that is also coined by the CBE. Can you give us a brief overview of the skills pipeline model?
Thank you very much for having me once again, and greetings to our listeners. Yes, the skills development pipeline is a very important program that we have as CBE. So essentially, the skills development pipeline is it's just a list of programs forming the value chain, the skills value chain,
Yes.
from all the way from school to when one is actually professionally registered. So, for example, at school level, we have what we call the math and science program.
Yeah.
That actually assists students to do well in math and science. We
Yes.
also have career awareness so that we can woo them into the built development profession.
Yes.
And then as soon as they finish their matric and they go to varsities or tertiary institutions, we have also a bursary program where we can
Yes.
provide bursaries to some of them, working along with CETA. And then when they're studying and they're doing their respective course, built development course in tertiary institutions, we have what you call because they have to do what we call practicals.
Yes.
So we have what we call the work integrated learning,
Okay.
where we actually link them with workplaces so that they're able to fulfill that part, because they're not able to
Yes.
graduate without that. And then as soon as they start working, now they graduate, we also have what we call the structured candidacy program,
Okay.
where in a structured way we are now able to develop them into becoming professionals.
Okay.
And then of course, even after they become professionals, we have programs such as OSD from government, where we try to keep our professionals within the profession.
Yes.
So whether they are engineers, architects, landscape architects,
Yeah.
property valuers, quantity surveyors, and construction and project managers,
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
they
yeah.
remain within the profession.
Oh, okay.
We don't lose them internationally, and we don't lose them
Yes.
to other professions. So that's essentially the skills development pipeline.
And it sounds very similar to the Tutuka model. Very similar. It's got all the elements of the Tutuka model. So and that's proved itself. So I mean, it looks like quite a good model.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay. And tell me, with regard to the fourth industrial revolution, how ready is the CBE or the built environment, in your opinion, with regard to the
I think in terms of the fourth industrial revolution, let's start by just explaining what we mean when we talk about the fourth industrial revolution. And then I think in order for us to do justice to this question, it would be good of us to actually take a step back in time, starting with the first. So I'll quickly go through all of them, and then I'll explain the fourth. I think that's a good way of discussing this issue. It's a very interesting issue. So the first industrial revolution, we in the 1800s, the 1700s, the 18th century, we had the invention of the steam engine. Now the steam engine revolutionized the industry. It meant that we could use a steam engine to power machines, And obviously these machines, and for example the swim engine, the train, we could therefore do jobs easier and quicker. So that's what revolutionized the industry, the fifth industrial revolution. And then secondly, in the beginning of the 20th century, the 1900s, we had the invention of electricity.
Yes.
Once again, that revolutionized the industry. We could use electricity to power various machines, and these machines could then be used to do jobs quicker. And that's why we call it the second industrial revolution.
Yes.
The third industrial revolution, we talk about the invention of, in the 1970s, of computers. That too revolutionized the industry. We could do work quicker, we could compute, word processing, calculators, the internet also came into place. And so now we're actually in the beginning of what we call the fourth industrial revolution. And in essence, it's made up of three components. So it's computing power, and I'll go through the technologies that we talk about. It's computing power, it's bio and material hacking, and then we also have what we call the digital world. But there's advancements in all of these. So for example, in terms of computing power, we talk about AI and machine learning, we talk about quantum computing, we talk about the clouds of things, and those are the technologies there. In terms of bio and material hacking, we talk about 3D printing, for example.
Yes.
We talk about bio generation, we talk about nanotechnologies. In terms of the fourth one, what was it? Digital world, we're talking about virtual reality and issues such as that.
Yes.
So this is actually what we're talking about when we talk about the fourth industrial revolution. Advancements in those technologies that will actually revolutionize or what we do. So that's essentially it.
And it's upon us. It's,
yes,
we
yes,
see
it's
robotics and AI playing out in front of us. So we
yes. So if we want to relate it now to the built environment, how is it going to affect the built environment? So if you're looking at it, advancements in AI and machine learning, along with these other technologies, AI actually using AI and machine learning, it's able to learn anything. That's already been proven by Google DeepMind through AlphaGo and other programs. So this means therefore that we'll be able to use machines to program to learn the work that is done by architects.
Yes.
We'll be able to program to do work that's done by landscape architects, engineers, all of these professions within the built environment.
Yes.
And so it would appear therefore that does this mean that all of these people now will lose their job? And that is a big question that we want to address.
Yeah.
Would all of these professions now lose their jobs when this happens?
Yeah.
And the good story is, as I always explain, is, for example, if you look at all the other industrial revolutions, when they took place, these industrial revolutions, people lost jobs, but there were new industries that were created.
Yes.
And that is why actually today there are more people working than there's ever been in the history of all mankind.
Okay.
So yes, people will lose jobs, we lose jobs, but there are new industries that are created, and they actually create more jobs than those that are lost.
Okay.
And that is a positive way I like to look at it.
Sure.
And that's precisely what's going to happen now. And therefore, in the built environment, we need to prepare for that kind of scenario. That's essentially what we want to do.
So there's two questions I'm posing to you. Are we ready? And secondly, if not, or if we are, how is the CBE going to lead this fourth industrial revolution as part of its process?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Indeed, the CBE is actually taking a stance to lead in that regard. And let me tell you some of the things that we're doing. So firstly, we're conducting intensive research as far as the impact of the fourth industrial revolution, firstly on the skills within the built environment, and also on the job creation, because that's a big issue.
Yes.
So we're conducting further research to fully understand this phenomenon and to be best prepared. And at the moment, I don't think we're thoroughly prepared, but these kinds of studies that we're conducting are actually helping us to be precisely that. The second thing that we are doing, we want to make sure that the issues relating to the fourth industrial revolution are quickly incorporated within the curriculum of tertiary institutions.
Yes.
And we have influence because we have the 6 councils reporting, being overseen by CBE, and they actually accredit these academic programs. So we want to make sure that we infiltrate issues relating to fourth industrial revolution within that. And then thirdly, we have what we call continuous professional development, CPD. So everyone, if you're a professional engineer or professional architect, you need to make sure that on an annual basis you have continuous professional development and you do some of these courses. And we want to make sure that those actually focus on some of these issues relating to the fourth industrial revolution, so that we skill and reskill our professionals to become ready.
Yep.
And at the moment, we don't feel like that CPD is doing that. We feel that it's really regurgitating what we've been taught at varsity, things that we learned in 1914 and a long time ago.
Sure.
It will appear that at the moment we're still training, skilling our people for the second and third industrial revolution, where in fact we should be getting out for the fourth industrial revolution.
Sure. Now, Henck, you've
Hi.
been listening to all of this.
Yes, it's so exciting. I just
It
want to
is.
say, being a producer, I hope there's not a robot that's going to be able to take over my job.
I was. Henck, can you tell us what you do
Yes.
and how you see yourself as being a potential partner for CBE?
Yes, so I'm a television producer, as I mentioned, and hopefully there's no robots taking over that. I produce a television show called Reno Race that is on SABC 1. It's Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock. It's also about renovations, it's about building. We meet families and we go in, we give them product from Cashbuild, who's one of our partners in the program, and then they get the opportunity to renovate their properties, and we have a judge at the end who then goes in, judge the two properties, and one of the families gets a cash prize.
Oh,
So that is more or less what the show is about. And I think there's some very exciting prospects, especially of the CBE and all the wonderful work that they are
Yes.
doing that we saw, and we're very happy and excited to be able to also be at the Indaba and to also present there.
Yes.
Because in doing the work that we are doing, we saw that there are two distinct needs. You know, there's a need, we focus on the informal settlements where we film our TV shows, and there's a lot of people there that approach us and they ask us, can they not work with us? Can they not also be working in construction, in building? And, you know, unfortunately, we can only take on that many people.
Yes.
The second element that we saw that is also a big need is that people are willing to spend money to renovate their houses, because everybody wants a pretty home.
Yes.
You know, it's just a normal thing that we all want. So we are in the process of coming up with a business model that we also have explained in the past to CBE about how we can go across all the provinces of South Africa, because we are on a national platform with Reno Race, and basically transform and come up with a way to educate people to go into their communities, do renovations, build RDP houses, build housing, and do all of that, and in the community, people of the community will be empowered to do that for their communities. So we're very excited to see all the potential.
Sounds
that we can do.
exciting.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. So remember, Reno Race tonight, Wednesday.
Wednesday night, 6 o'clock.
6
Thank you
o'clock.
for that plug.
In closing, Madam CEO, a quick few minutes. Could you tell us about the skills pipeline that features in the transformation of the South African built environment, and how the CBE intends to fit into this plan?
Thank you again. I think the COO has explained
Yes.
the skills pipeline. I think what is key for us, especially going to our second Transformation Indaba, the issue here is resourcing
Yes.
the skills pipeline, because I think he mentioned a number of initiatives that are part of the skills pipeline, and these things will never take place if we don't have funding. So in our next the second Transformation Indaba, we will be pledging for the sector, the companies, government, individuals, to pledge their support to ensure that there is we need to turn around the skills pipeline. So I mean, as our president is mobilizing the society by saying Tumamina,
Yes.
I think this also will be our kind of the edge,
Yes.
and the message to the people, that as individuals, that people say, send me, by sending their contributions.
Yes.
The contributions will be in the form of financial support, the mentors that the COO spoke about, because we need mentors. We need
Yes.
people who will coach these students, because some of them, they come from deserving families. So we need the people that we can plug in, so that we can help them to be able to study without having the fear of not having source of income.
Yes.
But also there are other issues, socio-economic issues, that are related to where they come from. So we need human resources as well, so that we can make sure that this skills pipeline is a possibility. So our theme is igniting possibilities.
Yes.
So we are looking forward to having people contributing towards making this a possibility for the built environment. I think we must say that by next time this year, or the following year,
Yeah,
we need to be in a better position. We need to be in a better place.
We want to see results, yes.
in terms of the skills within the country or within the sector.
Sure.
So we are looking forward to the participation, full participation
Good.
of the sector.
Good luck with you in Ndaba. That remember, it's 7th to 8th of February at the ICC in the CSIR ICC
CSIR,
in Pretoria. And good luck with it, and I'm sure it's going to
Thank
go well.
you.
And I'll see you all next week on Tuesday, 29th at 10 o'clock, my usual slot. And don't miss the show because I'm introducing a very important guest next week. Thank you.